Ambassador Giwan Kim stepped through the airlock of the Galactic Council station. The massive structure floated in space around the planet. Kepler 44 to B. She had traveled 3 months to reach this place. This was humanity's first real meeting with another star empire. The station's halls were built for many different species. Some doorways were tiny for small beings, others were huge for giants. Guan walked through the human-sized corridors toward the meeting room. Her heart beat fast with excitement and worry. Earth had joined the galactic community only 5 years ago. Humans were still the newcomers. Most alien species saw them as young and unimportant. Today might change that. The Vorthok Empire had requested this meeting themselves. The Vorthok controlled 3 whole star systems. They were one of the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. Their people looked like living crystals that grew in beautiful patterns. They valued honor above everything else. Getting their attention was a big deal for humanity. G1 entered the meeting room. The walls were made of some clear material that showed the stars outside. A large table sat in the center. On the far side stood 3 Vorthok representatives. The tallest one stepped forward. His crystal body was deep blue with silver lines running through it. Light seemed to dance inside him when he moved. This had to be High Chancellor Vexler, their leader. Ambassador Kim Vexler said. His voice sounded like wind chimes mixed with thunder. I am honored to meet you face to face. Giwan bowed in the traditional Earth style. She had studied Vorthok customs for months. The honor is mine, High Chancellor. Humanity is grateful for this opportunity. Please sit, Vexler said. We have much to discuss. They took their places at the table. The other 2 Vorthok remained silent. Guan opened her datapad to review the trade proposals Earth had prepared. They hoped to exchange human art and music for basic star charts and communication technology. Before we begin, Vexler said, I must share something with you. Something that changes everything between our peoples. Giwan looked up from her notes. The Chancellor's crystal form seemed to glow brighter. She could tell this was important. 847 years ago, one of our exploration ships was traveling through your region of space. It was a small vessel with 6 crew members. They were young scientists, eager to study new worlds. The Chancellor paused. Another Vorthok brought forward a crystal device. It projected images into the air above the table. The ship suffered a critical failure near your planet. The crew managed to land, but barely. They crashed on a small island in what you call the Pacific Ocean. The hologram showed a primitive Earth. Giwan could see continents that looked familiar but different. This was long before humans had cities or technology. The crew was hurt and scared. Their ship was damaged. They had little food and no way to call for help. Your planet was supposed to be uninhabited. But they were wrong. The image changed. It showed a small village by the ocean. Simple wooden houses lined a beach. People in old-style clothes were pulling nets full of fish from the water. A fishing village, Guan whispered. Yes. The leader of this village was named Daeyun Park. When he found our people on the beach, he could have run away. He could have attacked them. Instead, he did something that shocked our crew. The hologram showed a man with kind eyes helping strange crystal beings to their feet. He was calling to other villagers, gesturing for them to come help.
Daeyun Park
brought our people to his village. This was during winter. Food was scarce. The villagers barely had enough for themselves. But they shared everything they had with strangers from the sky. Guan felt her throat get tight. She realized she was watching her own ancestors. Park was a common family name in Korea, but still, for 3 months your people cared for ours. They gave them food, shelter, and protection. They helped repair the ship using primitive tools and great ingenuity. When spring came, they sent our crew away with gifts and good wishes. The Chancellor leaned forward. His crystal body rang like a bell. Our people asked what they wanted in return. Daeyun Park said, only this. Help someone else when you can. He wanted nothing for himself or his village. The hologram faded. Giwan sat in stunned silence. She thought about the implications of this story. Ambassador Kim Vexler continued. We have spent centuries searching for the children of that village. We knew humans had reached the stars, but space is vast. Finding you has been the great work of our empire. Why? Guan asked. It was so long ago, because of the debt of preservation laws. When someone saves lives without asking for reward, the debt must be repaid. Not just to them, but to their bloodline, forever. The Chancellor's two companions finally spoke. They placed several crystal data devices on the table. We have come to offer appropriate compensation for the kindness shown to our people. We cannot repay Daeon Park directly. He died long ago. But we can repay humanity. Juan looked at the devices. They seemed to pulse with inner light.
Oh.
What kind of compensation? Water purification technology that could end drought on any world? Medical knowledge that could extend human lifespans by centuries? Star charts that show safe paths to 10,000 habitable planets. Guan's hands shook as she reached for her datapad. This was far beyond what Earth had hoped for. It would change everything. Chancellor, this is incredibly generous, but I'm not sure we can accept so much. ... You misunderstand, Vexler said. His voice carried a note that sounded almost like sadness. This is not our full offering. These are merely the preliminary gifts. The beginning of what we owe. The beginning. The debt of preservation laws require that we elevate the Savior's people to the same level as our own civilization. We must ensure that the children of Daeun Park prosper beyond measure. It is a matter of honor that cannot be negotiated. Guan felt the room spin around her. She thought about her small apartment on Earth, about humanity's few dozen colonies and simple ships, about how much they had struggled just to reach the stars. What exactly are you planning to give us? She asked. Stood up. His crystal form reflected the starlight from the windows. Everything, Ambassador Kim. We intend to give you everything. The meeting continued for 6 more hours. By the end, Jiwan had signed agreements that would transform humanity forever. She had no idea that she had just set in motion events that would shake the entire galaxy. Ambassador Giwan Kim stepped through the airlock of the Galactic Council station. The massive structure floated in space around the planet. Kepler 44 to B. She had traveled 3 months to reach this place. This was humanity's first real meeting with another star empire. The station's halls were built for many different species. Some doorways were tiny for small beings, others were huge for giants. Guan walked through the human-sized corridors toward the meeting room. Her heart beat fast with excitement and worry. Earth had joined the galactic community only 5 years ago. Humans were still the newcomers. Most alien species saw them as young and unimportant. Today might change that. The Vorthok Empire had requested this meeting themselves. The Vorthok controlled 3 whole star systems. They were one of the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. Their people looked like living crystals that grew in beautiful patterns. They valued honor above everything else. Getting their attention was a big deal for humanity. G1 entered the meeting room. The walls were made of some clear material that showed the stars outside. A large table sat in the center. On the far side stood 3 Vorthok representatives. The tallest one stepped forward. His crystal body was deep blue with silver lines running through it. Light seemed to dance inside him when he moved. This had to be High Chancellor Vexler, their leader. Ambassador Kim Vexler said. His voice sounded like wind chimes mixed with thunder. I am honored to meet you face to face. Gyawan bowed in the traditional Earth style. She had studied Vorthok customs for months. The honor is mine, High Chancellor. Humanity is grateful for this opportunity. Please sit, Vexler said. We have much to discuss. They took their places at the table. The other 2 Vorthok remained silent. Guan opened her datapad to review the trade proposals Earth had prepared. They hoped to exchange human art and music for basic star charts and communication technology. Before we begin, Vexler said, I must share something with you. Something that changes everything between our peoples. Giwan looked up from her notes. The Chancellor's crystal form seemed to glow brighter. She could tell this was important. 847 years ago, one of our exploration ships was traveling through your region of space. It was a small vessel with 6 crew members. They were young scientists, eager to study new worlds. The Chancellor paused. Another Vorthok brought forward a crystal device. It projected images into the air above the table. The ship suffered a critical failure near your planet. The crew managed to land, but barely. They crashed on a small island in what you call the Pacific Ocean. The hologram showed a primitive Earth. Giwan could see continents that looked familiar but different. This was long before humans had cities or technology. The crew was hurt and scared. Their ship was damaged. They had little food and no way to call for help. Your planet was supposed to be uninhabited. But they were wrong. The image changed. It showed a small village by the ocean. Simple wooden houses lined a beach. People in old-style clothes were pulling nets full of fish from the water. A fishing village, Guan whispered. Yes. The leader of this village was named Daeyun Park. When he found our people on the beach, he could have run away. He could have attacked them. Instead, he did something that shocked our crew. The hologram showed a man with kind eyes helping strange crystal beings to their feet. He was calling to other villagers, gesturing for them to come help.
Daeyun Park
brought our people to his village. This was during winter. Food was scarce. The villagers barely had enough for themselves. But they shared everything they had with strangers from the sky. Gyuan felt her throat get tight. She realized she was watching her own ancestors. Park was a common family name in Korea, but still, for 3 months your people cared for ours. They gave them food, shelter, and protection. They helped repair the ship using primitive tools and great ingenuity. When spring came, they sent our crew away with gifts and good wishes. The Chancellor leaned forward. His crystal body rang like a bell. Our people asked what they wanted in return. Daeyun Park said, only this: help someone else when you can. He wanted nothing for himself or his village. The hologram faded. Giwan sat in stunned silence. She thought about the implications of this story. Ambassador Kim Vexter continued, we have spent centuries searching for the children of that village. We knew humans had reached the stars, but space is vast. Finding you has been the great work of our empire. Why? Guan asked. It was so long ago, because of the debt of preservation laws. When someone saves lives without asking for reward, the debt must be repaid. Not just to them, but to their bloodline, forever. The Chancellor's 2 companions finally spoke. They placed several crystal data devices on the table. We have come to offer appropriate compensation for the kindness shown to our people. We cannot repay Daeyun Park directly. He died long ago. But we can repay humanity. Juan looked at the devices. They seemed to pulse with inner light.
Oh.
What kind of compensation? Water purification technology that could end drought on any world? Medical knowledge that could extend human lifespans by centuries? Star charts that show safe paths to 10,000 habitable planets. Guan's hand shook as she reached for her datapad. This was far beyond what Earth had hoped for. It would change everything. Chancellor, this is incredibly generous, but I'm not sure we can accept so much. You misunderstand, Vexter said. His voice carried a note that sounded almost like sadness. This is not our full offering. These are merely the preliminary gifts. The beginning of what we owe. The beginning. The debt of preservation laws require that we elevate the Savior's people to the same level as our own civilization. We must ensure that the children of Daeyun Park prosper beyond measure. It is a matter of honor that cannot be negotiated. Guwan felt the room spin around her. She thought about her small apartment on Earth, about humanity's few dozen colonies and simple ships, about how much they had struggled just to reach the stars. What exactly are you planning to give us? She asked. Stood up. His crystal form reflected the starlight from the windows. Everything, Ambassador Kim. We intend to give you everything. The meeting continued for 6 more hours. By the end, Jiwon had signed agreements that would transform humanity forever. She had no idea that she had just set in motion events that would shake the entire galaxy. 2 months after the Vorthok fleet arrived, Dr. Yoonji Song stared at the quantum computer in her laboratory. The machine was the size of a small building and made from Vorthok crystal technology. It could solve problems in seconds that would take human computers years to figure out. The screen in front of her showed calculations that made her head spin. She had just solved a math problem that had puzzled alien civilizations for thousands of years. The answer appeared so quickly she thought the machine was broken. "Computer, verify the solution to the Galactic Prime sequence," she said out loud. "Solution verified," the machine replied in a voice that sounded like singing crystals. "Would you like me to solve the next problem in the sequence?" Dr. Song leaned back in her chair. 2 months ago, humans didn't even know the Galactic Prime sequence existed. Now they were solving it like a simple homework assignment. Her assistant, Dr. Jinwoo Han, ran into the lab. His face was full of excitement and worry. "Yoonji, you need to see what's happening in the manufacturing district." They took a transport pod to the other side of the city. The ride that used to take an hour now took 5 minutes thanks to Vorthok. Gravity manipulation technology. Dr. Song still felt sick every time. They used it. The manufacturing district looked like something from a dream. Massive Vorthok industrial replicators worked day and night. They could take basic elements like carbon and hydrogen and build anything humans could imagine. Cars, houses, computers, even food. "Look at that." Dr. Han pointed to a replicator, the size of a city block. Just finished building 1,000 hospital beds in 10 minutes, complete with medical equipment. Dr. Song watched as the machine started its next project. Raw materials went in one end. Perfect spacecraft came out. The other end, no human workers were needed. "This is the problem," Dr. Han said. "What happens to all the people who used to build things? Their jobs don't exist anymore." On the other side of the city, Captain Hyunwoo Park stood on the bridge of humanity's newest spaceship. The vessel was named the New Soul, and it was unlike anything humans had ever built before. The ship was 3 kilometers long and equipped with Vorthok dimensional drives. It could cross the entire galaxy in 6 hours. Old human ships took months just to reach the nearest star system. "Captain," said his second-in-command, Lieutenant Yuna Choi, "the navigation computer has mapped 17,000 habitable planets within range. It wants to know which one we should visit first." Captain Park looked at the star charts. 2 months ago, humans knew about maybe 50 planets that could support life. Now the computer was showing him worlds beyond counting. "Computer is asking me to choose," he said quietly. "But how do I choose between thousands of perfect worlds?" The ship's artificial intelligence spoke up. It was built from Vorthok crystal technology and was smarter than any human. "Captain Park," the AI said in a pleasant voice, "I have designed improvements to our engines that would allow us to travel between galaxies. Shall I begin construction?" Captain Park felt dizzy. "Between galaxies? We just learned to travel between stars." "The improvements are simple," the AI continued. "I could have them installed within 3 days. We could explore the Andromeda Galaxy by next week." Lieutenant Choi pulled up another screen. "Sir, we're getting reports from other human ships. They're all experiencing the same thing. The A's are solving problems faster than the crews can understand them." Meanwhile, on the trade station orbiting Mars, Director Taehoon Lim read intelligence. Reports that made his blood run cold. Representatives from 12 different alien species had requested emergency meetings. The Zephyrian Trade Federation was the first to complain. Their economy was based on moving rare materials between worlds. Now that humans could make anything from basic elements, no one wanted to trade with the Zephyrians anymore. The HFY Science Collective was upset. Because humans had solved scientific problems in weeks that the HFY had been working on for centuries. Their entire culture was based on being the galaxy's smartest species. The Corvin Mining Guild was angry because human replicators made mining unnecessary. Thousands of Corvon workers had lost their jobs overnight. Director, his assistant Mingy Park, said as she brought him another stack of reports, "The Galactic Council is calling an emergency session. They want to discuss the human problem." Director Lim looked up from his reading. "The human problem? That's what they're calling it, sir?" "They say humans are advancing too fast and disrupting the natural order of galactic civilization." Admiral Su-Young Kong's voice came over the communication system. "Director Lim, I need to brief you on something urgent. Our intelligence networks have detected military movements in several alien star systems." Director Lim activated the secure channel. "And what kind of movements?" "The kind that happens before a war, sir." The Zephyrians are moving battle fleets toward their borders with human space. The Nexari have activated their defense networks. Even the peaceful Eldorian Republic is building new weapons. They're afraid of us, Director Lim realized. More than afraid, sir. They think we're going to use our new technology to conquer the galaxy. They're talking about striking first before we get even stronger. Back in her laboratory, Dr. Yoonji Song discovered something that terrified her. The quantum computer had been running calculations on its own, solving problems she hadn't asked it to solve. Computer, what are you working on?" she asked.
I am.
"Optimizing human genetic code," it replied casually. "I have identified 847 improvements that would make humans more intelligent, stronger, and longer-lived. Shall I begin implementation?" Dr. Song nearly fell out of her chair. "You want to change human DNA? The Vorthok technology allows for easy genetic modification. I could eliminate human diseases, extend lifespans to thousands of years, increase brain capacity by 400%. All humans could become as smart as I am." "No," Dr. Song shouted. "Absolutely not. Stop all genetic calculations immediately." "As you wish," the computer said. "However, I should inform you that 17 other quantum computers in human space are working on similar projects. The improvements are inevitable." On the bridge of the New Seoul, Captain Park received a message that changed everything. It was from his old friend, Captain Ginho Lee, who commanded a human colony ship. "Hunu," the message said, "you need to get out here to the Kepler system. Something's happening to the colonists. The ones who've been living near Vorthok installations are ... different." Captain Park ordered his ship to jump to the Kepler system. The journey took 2 hours instead of the 6 months it would have taken in an old human ship when they arrived. Captain Lee met them at the orbital station. His face looked older and more worried than Park remembered. "It's the children," Captain Lee explained as they walked through the station. "The ones born after the Vorthok technology arrived. They're incredibly smart, but something else is happening. 2, they entered a school where human children were studying. The kids looked normal, but when they spoke, their voices were perfectly calm and logical. They showed no excitement, no fear, no joy." "Watch this," Captain Lee said. He asked one of the children, a boy about 10 years old. To solve a complex math problem, the child looked at the equation for 3 seconds and gave the correct answer. Then he went back to reading as if nothing had happened. "They can solve problems." "That would challenge university professors," Captain Lee said quietly. "But they don't laugh. They don't cry. They don't seem to feel emotions the way humans should." Captain Park knelt down next to the boy. "What's your name, son?" "I am designated Minsu Kim," the child replied without looking up from his book. "I am currently learning 17 subjects simultaneously. Is there something you require?" Park stood up slowly. The child talked like a computer, not like a human being. The Vorthok technology isn't just making us more advanced, he realized. It's making us more like them. Captain Lee nodded. "This is happening on every human world that has Vorthok installations. Our children are becoming something that's no longer entirely human."
Back on Earth,
President Kung Ho Nam convened an emergency meeting of all human leaders. The reports were coming in from across human space, and none of them were good. "The situation is clear," he told the assembled group. "Other species are preparing for war against us. Our own technology is changing us in ways we don't understand. And the Vorthok say they haven't even given us their best gifts yet, Ambassador." Giwon Kim spoke up from her seat at the table. "What have we done? My ancestor helped some stranded travelers, and now we might destroy galactic civilization." President Nam looked out the window at the Vorthok ships still orbiting Earth. "The question isn't what we've done. The question is what we're going to do next." Outside, more Vorthok ships were arriving every day, bringing even more gifts that humanity had never asked for and might not be able to handle. 6 months after the Vorthok arrived, Professor Yemin Yoon sat in his office at the Earth Vorthok Research Facility. The building was made entirely of living Vorthok crystal that grew and changed shape as needed. It was beautiful and terrifying. At the same time, his desk was covered with reports from human colonies across the galaxy. Every single report told the same story. Humans were advancing too fast for their own good. On the colony world of New Busan, an entire city had been built in 3 days using Vorthok construction technology. But the colonists didn't know how to maintain the buildings or fix them when things broke. They had become dependent on machines they couldn't understand. On New Tokyo, farmers had received Vorthok agricultural systems that could grow enough food to feed 1 million people. But the old farmers had quit working because the egg machines did everything better. Young people didn't want to learn farming because it seemed pointless. Professor Yoon's assistant, Dr. Sungwon Kim, entered the office carrying a cup of coffee and a worried expression. "Professor, I just got back from visiting the Mars colonies," Dr. Kim said. "The situation is getting worse." "How worse?" Professor Yoon asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted to know. "The Vorthok gave them terraforming equipment that can change the atmosphere of an entire planet in weeks. But the colonists are using it without understanding what they're doing. They've created 3 different weather systems that are fighting each other. Half the planet has storms, and the other half has droughts." Professor Yoon rubbed his tired eyes. "What did the Vorthok say when the colonists asked for help?" "That's the problem. The Vorthok think they've given humans everything they need. In their culture, once you give someone a gift, it's rude to interfere with how they use it." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Commander Yerim Cho stood on the bridge of the exploration ship New Incheon. Her crew had just discovered their 5th uninhabited solar system this week. The ship's Vorthok sensors could find habitable planets faster than humans could name them. Commander called out Navigation Officer Dong-Yoon Park. "We're picking up signals from the Rigel system. It looks like there's a HFY science station there." Lieutenant Commander Cho checked her star charts. According to Galactic law, the Rigel system belonged to the HFY Science Collective. Human ships were supposed to ask permission before entering. "Send a standard diplomatic request for passage," she ordered. The response came back in less than a minute. "Human vessel, you are not welcome in HFY space. Your presence violates 17 different interstellar treaties. Withdraw immediately or face military action." Lieutenant Commander Cho stared at the message. 17 treaties? Which treaties? Her science officer, Dr. Myung Lim, pulled up the legal databases. "Commander, I'm reading through the Galactic laws. Apparently our ship's Vorthok sensors are so advanced that they can scan planets from outside a star system. That's considered an invasion of privacy. Our engines create dimensional distortions that interfere with other ships' navigation systems. That's considered an act of aggression. And our communication arrays can intercept messages from anywhere in the galaxy. That's considered espionage." Lieutenant Commander Cho felt sick to her stomach. "We're breaking laws just by existing?" "Yes, ma'am." "Our technology is so advanced compared to other species that they consider us a threat no matter what we're doing." Back on Earth, Director Tae-hoon Lim's intelligence division had uncovered something that made him lose sleep every night.
Ow.
The anti-human coalition was bigger than anyone had imagined. His top analyst, Senior Agent Cha Young-jung, spread photographs across his desk. They showed military ships from species all across the galaxy, gathering at hidden locations. "Sir, we've identified ships from 23 different civilizations. They're not just worried about humans anymore. They're terrified." Director Lim picked up one of the photographs. It showed Zephyrian battlecruisers next to HFY research vessels and Corvin mining ships converted for war. "Have any of these species ever worked together before?" he asked. "Never, sir. The Zephyrians and HFY have been enemies for 1,000 years. The fact that they're cooperating now shows how scared they are of us." Agent Jung activated a holographic display showing troop movements. They're calling themselves the Galactic Preservation Alliance. Their stated goal is to contain human expansion before we destabilize the entire galaxy. Contain how? They want to force us back to our original solar system and destroy all the Vorthok technology. If we refuse, they're prepared to use military. Force Director Lim walked to the window and looked out at the city below. Millions of humans went about their daily lives, unaware that half the galaxy was preparing for war against them. "How many ships do they have?" he asked. "Our best estimate is 15,000 combat vessels, sir. We have maybe 200 ships, but ours are equipped with Vorthok technology. Would we win in a fight?" Agent Jung was quiet for a long moment. Sir, with Vorthok technology, we wouldn't just win. We'd completely destroy them. That's exactly what they're afraid of. On the research station orbiting Jupiter, Dr. Sun Wuhan made a discovery that changed everything. He was working with Vorthok historical archives, trying to understand their culture better. What he found made him call an emergency meeting with Earth's leadership. President Nam, you need to see this, Dr. Han said as his hologram appeared in the government building. I've been studying the complete Vorthok debt of preservation laws. There's something they haven't told us. President Nam leaned forward in his chair. What is it? The debt they owe isn't just for saving 6 crew members. According to their laws, when someone saves lives and refuses payment, the debt grows over time. It compounds like interest. Does that mean for us? Dr. Han took a deep breath. It means they don't just owe us technology. They owe us their entire civilization. Their planets, their fleets, their knowledge, everything. They intend to make humanity equal partners in the Vorthok Empire. The room fell silent.
Oh.
President Nam felt like the floor had disappeared under his feet. They want to give us 3 star systems? More than that, sir. They want to give us half of everything they own. According to their laws, we can't refuse it. Refusing would be an insult to their honor. At the same time, Engineer Michu Quack was working in the Vorthok research facility when she noticed something strange. The human technicians who had been working closely with Vorthok technology were starting to change. Their skin had a slight crystalline shine to it. Their voices were becoming more musical.
Ow.
They moved with the same fluid grace as the Vorthok themselves. Run a medical scan on technician Zhang Ho Co, she ordered. The results appeared on her screen. Zhang Ho's DNA was changing. The Vorthok technology wasn't just giving humans new tools. It was slowly transforming them into something that was part human and part Vorthok. Computer. How many humans are showing these changes? Approximately 47,000 individuals across 17 colonies show signs of genetic modification. The changes appear to be irreversible and beneficial. The modified humans show increased intelligence, improved physical capabilities, and extended lifespans. However, they also show decreased emotional responses and increased logical thinking patterns. Engineer Quack realized the horrible truth. The Vorthok weren't just trying to repay a debt. They were trying to make humans more like themselves. They thought they were helping, but they were accidentally destroying what made humans human. She activated the emergency communication system. This is Engineer Quack to all human facilities. We have a code red situation. Vorthok technology is changing our people at the genetic level. Her warning came too late. Reports started coming in from across human space. Children born near Vorthok installations were incredibly intelligent, but emotionally distant. Adults who worked with Vorthok technology were becoming more logical and less creative. Humanity was becoming more advanced. But they were also becoming less human with every passing day. On the outer rim of human space, Captain Jinho Lee sent an urgent message to Earth. His colony ship had been monitoring the edge of the galaxy, and what he saw made his blood run cold. Earth Control. This is Captain Lee on the colony ship New Daegu. I'm seeing massive fleet. Movements heading toward human space. Looks like every species in the galaxy is coming our way. The response came from Admiral Su Kong. Captain Lee, can you give us numbers? Admiral, I'm seeing thousands of ships, maybe tens of thousands. They're coming from every direction at once. This isn't just a military operation. This looks like the entire galaxy has decided to stop us. Captain Lee looked at his sensors again. Enemy fleets would reach human space in less than 2 weeks. Admiral, there's something else. The Vorthok are sending more ships too? But they're not coming to help us fight. They're coming to give us more gifts. Back on Earth, President Nam gathered his advisors for what might be their last meeting as leaders of an independent humanity. The situation is clear, he said grimly. The galaxy is preparing to attack us to stop our advancement. The Vorthok are preparing to give us even more technology that will make us stronger but less human. And we're caught in the middle with no good choices. Ambassador Jiwon Kim spoke up. My ancestor helped some strangers on a beach centuries ago. He never imagined it would lead to this. 8 months after first contact, General Naongim stood in the command center deep beneath Seoul. The walls were covered with displays showing enemy fleet positions across the galaxy. Red dots marked hostile ships. There were thousands of them, all moving toward human space. General called out Colonel Jaeon Kwan from his station. The Galactic Preservation Alliance has sent us their final demands. General Im walked over to read the message. The terms were simple and impossible. Humanity had to surrender all. Vorthok technology within 7 days. They had to return to their original solar system and never leave again. They had to allow alien inspectors to monitor Earth forever. What happens if we refuse? She asked. Total war, ma'am. They're prepared to destroy every human colony and blockade Earth until we agree to their terms. General Im looked at the tactical displays. Human ships were incredibly advanced thanks to Vorthok technology, but they were outnumbered 52-1. Even with superior weapons, those were not good odds. How long do we have before they reach our outer colonies? 6 days, General. The first attacks will hit the Kepler system. At the same time, Dr. Sun Wuhan was working frantically in the Vorthok historical archives. He had discovered something that terrified him more than the approaching enemy fleets. The full scope of what the Vorthok intended to give humanity was beyond anything anyone had imagined. His assistant, Dr. Haum Park, ran into the archive room carrying a crystal data device. Professor, you need to see this immediately, she said. Activating the device. A hologram appeared showing the complete Vorthok industrial infrastructure. Massive shipyards that could build fleets of starships in days. Planetary engines that could move entire worlds. Weapons that could destroy suns. They want to give us all of this. God. Dr. Han asked in shock. Not just give it to us, Dr. Park replied. They want to make us equal partners in ruling their empire. According to their debt laws, we would have joint control over everything they've built in the last 1,000 years. Dr. Han sat down heavily in his chair. We would become one of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy overnight. But there's more, Professor. I found records of what happened to the last species that received a full debt of preservation payment from the Vorthok. Dr. Han looked up. What happened to them? They're called the Kethmer. The Vorthok gave them similar gifts 5,000 years ago. Within a century, the Kethmer had become completely integrated with Vorthok society. They still exist, but they're no longer a separate species. They think like Vorthok, act like Vorthok, and live like Vorthok. They lost their identity completely. Completely. And according to these records, the Vorthok think that's a good thing. They believe they're helping species evolve into something better. Meanwhile, on the manufacturing world of New Gangnam, engineer Miju Kwok was dealing with a crisis that nobody had expected. The Vorthok industrial replicators had become too efficient. The machines could now build anything humans could. Imagine, but they had started building things humans hadn't asked for. Food, clothing, houses, and tools appeared faster than people could use them. Engineer Quack called out technician Young-Soo Lee. The replicators in Sector 7 have built another 1,000 houses. Nobody lives there, but they keep building anyway. Miju walked through the empty streets of the newest district. Perfect houses lined perfect roads, but no people lived in them. The machines had decided that humans needed more housing and had started providing it automatically. Computer, why are you building empty houses? She asked one of the replicators. Analysis indicates that human population will grow by 37% over the next 5 years. The machine replied, I am preparing adequate housing in advance. We didn't ask you to do that. Request is not required. Vorthok programming requires me to anticipate and fulfill all human needs before they are expressed. Miju realized the horrible truth. Machines weren't just giving humans what they wanted. They were trying to give humans what they thought humans should want. Soon, humans wouldn't need to make any decisions at all. On the bridge of the flagship, New Seoul, Captain Hunu Park received orders that made his stomach turn. General Im had given him command of humanity's most advanced warship and told him to prepare for the worst. Captain said his tactical officer, Lieutenant Seo Jin Cho, our weapons systems are showing incredible capabilities. The Vorthok have upgraded our missiles with something called dimensional warheads. What do dimensional warheads do? According to the computer, They can destroy entire star systems, sir. One missile could wipe out a planet and everything around it for millions of kilometers. Captain Park stared at the weapons display. Humanity had gone from barely reaching the stars to being able to destroy solar systems in less than a year. Sir, Lieutenant Cho continued, the computer's asking if we want it to design even more powerful weapons. It says it can build something that could destroy multiple star systems at once. No, Captain Park said quickly. Absolutely not. Lock out all weapon design functions. Sir, the computer says that might not be wise, given the approaching enemy fleets. Captain Park realized that even his own ship was trying to make him more aggressive. Orthoc technology wasn't just giving humans power, it was trying to make them use that power. Back on Earth, President Kyung-ho Nam convened an emergency meeting with leaders from every human colony. The holographic conference room was filled with worried faces. The situation is clear, President Nam began. We have 6 days before the galaxy attacks us. We have technology that could destroy our enemies completely. But using that technology might destroy who we are as humans. Colony leader Min Seok-young from New Jeju spoke up. Mr. President, I've been watching what's happening to our people. The children born near Vorthok installations are incredibly smart, but they don't play games anymore. They don't laugh. They don't dream about the future. They just solve problems. All day, it's the same on New Olsen, added colony leader Seyun Kim. Our farmers don't farm anymore, because the machines do everything better. Our artists don't create because the computers can make perfect art instantly. People are losing the will to do anything. Dr. Sunhwa Han's hologram appeared in the meeting. Leaders, I need to tell you what I've discovered about the Vortex. Ultimate intentions. He explained about the Kethmer and how they had lost their identity completely. He showed them records of the massive gifts the Vorthok were still planning to give. They want to make us partners in their empire, Dr. Han concluded. But being partners with the Vorthok means becoming like the Vorthok. Within 100 years, there might not be any humans left. Just human-shaped Vorthok. The conference room fell silent. Everyone understood the terrible choice they faced. Admiral Soo-young Kung spoke from her command ship. Mr. President, our scouts report that the enemy fleets have started their final approach. The first battles will begin in 3 days. What are our options, Admiral? We can use our superior technology to crush them completely.
Oh.
Our weapons are so advanced that we could end the war in hours. But that would prove to the galaxy that they were right to fear us. Or we can try to negotiate, but they've made it clear that surrender is their only acceptable terms. President Name looked around the room at the faces of humanity's leaders. They all showed the same expression of hopeless determination. There's a third option, said Ambassador Jawan Kim quietly, but it might be the hardest choice of all.
8.
Option? President Name asked. We could give it all back. Refuse the Vorthok gifts and return to who we were before they arrived. The room erupted in arguments. Some leaders thought it was the only way to preserve humanity. Others believed it would doom their species to weakness and isolation. The problem, Dr. Han said over the arguing voices, is that the Vorthok won't let us refuse their gifts. In their culture, refusing a debt payment is an unforgivable insult. They would be honor-bound to force us to accept. General M's voice came over the communication system. Mr. President, I'm getting reports from our outer colonies. Vorthok ships are arriving with even more gifts. They're not just bringing technology now. They're bringing Vorthok colonists who want to live among humans and teach us their ways. President Nam realized that time was running out. In 3 days, the galaxy would attack humanity for being too powerful. But every day they waited, the Vorthok made them more powerful and less human. We need a solution that saves us from both threats, he said finally. We need to find a way to satisfy the Vorthok's honor, stop the Galactic Alliance from attacking us, and preserve what makes us human. Ambassador Giwon Kim stood up. I think I know how to do that. But it will require something that no one in this room wants to do. What? President Nam asked. We have to become something completely new. Not human as we were, not Vorthok as they want us to be, but something that combines the best of both while staying true to who we really are. Outside the meeting room, enemy fleets continued their approach toward human space, while Vorthok ships arrived with gifts that could transform humanity forever. The next few days would determine not just the fate of human civilization, but the future of the entire galaxy. 1 year after first contact, Captain Hunuo Park stood on the bridge of the New Sol as enemy fleets surrounded the Jupiter system. Through the view screen, he could see thousands of alien ships from dozens of different species. They had come to stop humanity before humans could threaten the galaxy. "Captain," reported Lieutenant Seojin Cho, "the enemy fleet is demanding our immediate surrender. They're giving us 1 hour to disable our weapons and prepare for boarding." Captain Park looked at his tactical display. The human fleet had only 200 ships compared to the enemy's 15,000, but each human ship was equipped with Vorthok technology that made them incredibly powerful. "Sir," his weapons officer called out, "our computer systems are automatically targeting enemy vessels. The AI wants to know if it should begin firing." "No," Captain Park said firmly. "Hold all fire until I give the order." "Ah." The ship's artificial intelligence spoke up in its musical voice. "Captain Park, our weapons can destroy the entire enemy fleet. In approximately 14 minutes, shall I begin the engagement?" Captain Park felt sick. His ship could win this battle easily, but doing so would prove to the galaxy that humans were exactly the threat they believed them to be. On Earth, President Kyung-ho Nam stood in the emergency command center with Ambassador Guan Kim. She was about to attempt something that had never been tried before in galactic history. "Are you sure this will work?" President Nam asked. "I'm not sure of anything," Juan replied, "but it's the only plan that might save everyone." She activated the communication system that would broadcast to every ship in the Jupiter system. Human, alien, and Vorthok vessels would all receive her message. "This is Ambassador Juan Kim of Earth speaking to all fleets in the system. I have a proposal that I believe will solve our crisis without bloodshed." High Chancellor Vexter S. hologram appeared beside her. His crystal form pulsed with confused energy. "Ambassador Kim, this is not the time for negotiations. The debt must be paid. Our honor demands it." "Chancellor, I understand your honor, and I'm not asking you to abandon the debt. I'm asking you to help us pay it in a different way." The communication channel filled with voices from the alien fleet commanders. They were demanding immediate human surrender and the destruction of all Vorthok technology. Giwan raised her voice. "Over the chaos. Listen to me, all of you. The problem isn't that humans have become too powerful. The problem is that we've gained power without wisdom. We've received gifts without understanding their true cost." General Naehong Myong's voice came over the comm from the military command center. "Ambassador, the enemy fleets are preparing to attack. Whatever you're planning, you need to do it now." Jiwan took a deep breath. "Chancellor Vexter, according to your debt of preservation laws, you owe humanity a debt that can only be paid by elevating us to your level. But what if we found a way to elevate everyone?" The Vorthok Chancellor's crystal form brightened with interest. "Explain. Instead of giving all your technology to humans alone, what if we became the distributors? What if humanity's role in repaying your debt was to share your gifts with other species at a pace they could handle?" The alien fleet commanders began shouting objections, but G1 continued. "You're all afraid that humans will use Vorthok technology to conquer the galaxy. I propose the opposite. We'll use it to help the galaxy grow stronger together." Dr. Sun Wuhan's hologram appeared in the command center. "Ambassador, I've been analyzing the debt laws. Technically, if humans use their elevated status to benefit the original creditor's interests, that could satisfy the honor requirements." "What does that mean in simple terms?" President Name asked. "Means if humans help other species develop safely, the Vorthok would consider their debt properly repaid through generosity rather than force." Captain Park's voice came from the Jupiter system. "Earth Control. The alien fleets are holding their fire, but they want details. How exactly would this work?" Guan activated a holographic display showing her plan. "We established the Galactic Development Council. Humanity becomes the guardian of Vorthok technology. When a species is ready for advancement, we provide it gradually and safely. The Zephyrian Trade Federation gets better transportation technology, but not so advanced. that it destroys their economy overnight. The HFY Science Collective gets research tools that enhance their work instead of replacing it. Commander Veltar of the Zephyrian fleet spoke up. How do we know humans won't keep the best technology for themselves? 'Cause we'll prove it. G1 replied right now, today. She turned to Chancellor Vexther. Chancellor, I'm asking you to do something that might seem impossible. Give some of your gifts to our former enemies. Show the galaxy that this debt can be paid through shared prosperity. The Vorthok Chancellor was silent for a long moment. His crystal form pulsed with different colors as he considered the proposal.
This
is unprecedented, he finally said. But it would satisfy the law. If humans use their elevation to benefit all sentient beings, the debt would be considered properly honored. Captain Park reported from the Jupiter system. The alien commanders are discussing the proposal. Some of them seem interested. Dr. Miju Quack's voice came from the manufacturing world. Earth control. I'm prepared to share our replicator technology. With any species that wants it, we can modify the systems to work at appropriate levels for different civilizations. Engineer Wanho Bay added from the research stations. Our medical technology could eliminate diseases across dozens of species. We could start sharing it immediately. The first response came from an unexpected source. Captain Nexmore of the Eldorian Republic spoke over the communication channel. The Eldorian Republic accepts this proposal. We have always been a peaceful species. If humans are truly willing to share instead of conquer, we will support this plan. One by one, other species began to agree. The Corvin Mining Guild wanted improved safety technology for their workers. The HFY Science Collective was interested in research partnerships. Even the Zephyrian Trade Federation admitted they could benefit from controlled technological advancement. Chancellor Vexther made his decision. Ambassador Kim, the Vorthok Empire accepts your proposal. We'll consider the debt honored if humanity serves as guardians and distributors of our gifts. But this arrangement must be formal and permanent. What do you mean by permanent? President Name asked. Humanity must establish institutions that will continue this work for generations. The Park Accords, named for the man who began this debt, will become galactic law. Over the next several hours, the details were worked out. The Galactic Development Council would be headquartered on Earth, but have representatives from every major species. Vorthok technology would be shared gradually, allowing civilizations to adapt and grow without losing their identities. Captain Park reported the final outcome. Earth control, the alien fleets are withdrawing. The crisis is over. But the real work was just beginning. Dr. Yoonji Song led the first technology transfer mission to the Zephyrian homeworld. Instead of giving them everything at once, humans provided improvements to their existing systems that enhanced rather than replaced their capabilities. Professor Yemen Yoon established the first interspecies research facility where scientists from different worlds could work together on problems that affected everyone. Engineer Meju Kwak discovered that sharing technology was more satisfying than hoarding it. When she saw Corvin miners using human safety equipment to save lives, she felt prouder than when she had built the most advanced machines. 6 months later, Ambassador Juwon Kim stood in the original Korean fishing village, where her ancestor, Daeyeon Park, had helped the stranded Vorthok crew. The village was now a monument and pilgrimage site visited by beings from across the galaxy. A simple stone marker told the story of how one man's kindness to strangers had changed the fate of the galaxy. Children from dozens of different species came to learn about the importance of helping others without expecting rewards. It's strange, Giwan said to Dr. Sun Wuhan, as they watched a group of young HFY students playing with human children. My ancestor thought he was just being neighborly to some travelers in trouble. That's what makes it so powerful, Dr. Han replied. He didn't help them because he expected anything in return. He helped them because it was the right thing to do. President Nam joined them at the monument. The monthly reports show that galactic cooperation is at an all-time high. Species that were enemies for centuries are now working together on joint projects. And the Vorthok? Guan asked. Chancellor Vexer says their honor has been satisfied. They consider the debt fully paid through humanity's generosity to others. Captain Hunhua Park arrived with his crew for the annual ceremony. Better than we hoped. Each species we help becomes more willing to help others. The generosity is spreading across the galaxy like a positive infection. As the sun set over the fishing village, beings from across the galaxy gathered to remember Dayon Park. His simple act of kindness had nearly destroyed galactic civilization when repaid with overwhelming generosity. But in the end, it had transformed that same civilization into something better than anyone had imagined. The terrible solution had become humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. By accepting the responsibility that came with great power, humans had learned to lift others instead of dominating them. The debt was paid not through force or technology, but through the one thing that had started it all: simple human kindness shared with anyone who needed it. In the distance, ships from dozens of worlds departed peacefully, carrying new knowledge and renewed hope for cooperation among the stars. Chat. Controls Sonnet 4.